Board. Oh, hello, Karen. Oh, Karen with a C. I love that. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Tell me a little bit about you. What kind of coach are you or consultant are you? We are recording this blab. My name is Karen Graves, and I'll go ahead into an proper intro of me in just a minute. But right now, glad to have you and welcome you in. I'm going to be talking about how to grow your business online the right way. And, when I say the right way, as far as leveraging internet, we have this opportunity. Internet is phenomenal. It's a great, great tool to use. The challenge is a lot of people find themselves that they're extremely overwhelmed and they're struggling about where to start, how to get started, what to do next. And ultimately, how do I back myself into the bigger goals that I have in growing this, business empire that I really want to grow? And so it can be overwhelming. And I find a lot of people are struggling in this space. And let me ask you, are both of you, currently marketing online and finding yourself in the overwhelmed space, or are you having great success with it? Okay. Oh, okay. You help. Okay, great, Karen. You help with both too on and offline. Well, in a few minutes, let's see. We're chatting it up. We can have the Karen team. We can talk about that. How about you, Jamie? What's going on for you online? Nice. Jamie owns a women's networking group for the last 8 years. That's fantastic. And is that virtual or is that real person? In person? Just getting into digital products. Okay. All right. And so you have a lot of great information, right? You have so much that you can share with people, and especially going online, especially if you have that strong foundation of, what's going, okay, in-person events and online publicity. Oh, awesome. Okay. So you have a lot of information, and that information now needs to find a space, right? And so the big thing about coming online is the difference is, and as both of you know, marketing offline is, you are like a boulder in the middle of a puddle when you're offline. You come online and you are literally dealing with millions of people, if not billions. I mean, let's look at Facebook. The other day hit 1 billion users in one day. 1 billion users. That's like amazing to me. It just blows my mind that in one day there were 1 billion people, 1/7 of our entire population was on Facebook, right? So people are flocking online. And so when you dip your toe in online, the biggest thing is you become like a grain of sand in the ocean. The difference between the offline and the offline, boulder in a puddle, online, grain of sand in the ocean. So it's really important that when you are marketing online, you have to think about the first thing that I need to do is to get noticed by the people that I want to notice me. And there's so many options and there's so many ways to market. And I've seen, a lot of people, myself included, who have come on and they've made like really big mistakes about marketing online. And I've seen people come on and they've done really, really well. But a lot of times the people who have come online and done really, really well did a few things right first before they jumped into the online realm. And so what happens oftentimes, I see people who are looking at, these big gurus who are doing extremely well, and they jump in, they try to do the same strategies they're doing, but those are advanced marketing strategies. And when you're first coming online, you got to start where you are. You don't necessarily have to jump into what you perceive to be what's going on for them. It's like, well, I launched, and I started my business 4 months ago, and now I have a 6-figure business in 4 months. That's not the norm. That's not the norm. And we have to remember that that is not the norm. So that not being the norm, it's important to say, okay, well, where am I starting? I'm just getting into online marketing. What does that look like? And for beginning in online marketing, you are leveraging online marketing. You're just growing and amplifying what you already have. That's the best way. And you can connect directly to the people who want it if you do a few steps first. So my goal in this collab is to share with you some of what can you do to have that strong foundation. How do you get going? How do you get more eyes on your business and quickly? How do you get clients in a way that's not, like stalker skeevy, like that, you are now generating clientele into your business? How do you grow? And basically, what should you not be doing? Okay. So let me just tell you very quickly, okay, so why should I listen to you? I'm one of those people who came into the coaching industry 7 years ago. And, I was a marketer's dream. You could tell me, this is how you build a business. And I was so hungry for information. I was so excited about everything. It was just like, okay, here's my credit card. Just go ahead and charge it up and I'll figure this all out. This is great. And I found myself like an information overwhelm. And I followed the big mentors and I followed the gurus and I masterminded with some of the biggest mentors. And I've actually even had the biggest mentors. I've sold for them. They've actually had me sell their programs for them live and in person and try to recruit me on their sales teams. But, I felt like, no, that's not really what I signed up for. I love to help coaches and consultants start their businesses. So I want to do it my way and get them going, because I recognize that a lot of people are like me, that info junkie marketer's dream that, oh, that looks like a good idea. I'll try that. That looks like a good idea. I'll try that. But the learning curve is a lot greater than you anticipate. And so what happens, you invest in these products and these programs and you haven't set that firm foundation. And so what happens is a lot of times that firm foundation isn't there. So you're trying to build something on sand that's going to collapse, and you're trying to do all these advanced marketing strategies. And unfortunately, those advanced marketing strategies are not adding up to where you are now. And you find out that you are spending money that you shouldn't be spending time that you shouldn't be spending, trying to do things that you're not ready for. And so the biggest thing is to be, to do what you should be doing and not to waste your time, your money, and your energy to work smart, to really work smart and not as hard as it seems to be. So I love to keep it simple. I'm always like, if I'm talking to the ladies, I'm like, kiss it, girls. Keep it simple, sister. Bring it down to the step by step by step. This is what you should be doing. So I don't know. Let's see. I have Coach Karen here. I have Grand Family Planning. I have Hardball Media Group and Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, jumping in. I have a great group of people here. And I know that all of you are brilliant. All of you are geniuses. Everybody here is very smart. And I have an invitation for you at the end of the blab as well. All of you are really smart people. And you are smarter than the average bear, because you're taking that risk into going into entrepreneurship, or you've been building your business. But sometimes you probably feel like, I should be able to do X, Y, Z because I am smarter than that. And you're not necessarily seeing the whole picture. So if there's times that you're feeling like you should be smarter, but you're frustrated because things are not popping off for you, it's not you. There's a lot of intricacies and a lot of the information that's shared that you don't get to see. So it's like, when you come into the program, I'll show you. And then you get in the program and it's still not being shown to you. So it's not fair to judge yourself by the gurus, by that level. You really want to think about, okay, what can I do right now? So I want to share with you, like, one of the biggest things that you can do right now is look at who you're marketing to. Now, I'm going to assume, yes, Coach Karen, girl, preach it. She said, there's always a story behind the story. There is. There's always a story behind the story. And there's always, when they're like, I'm going to pull back the curtains, they don't pull back the curtains the whole way. The curtains are like partially pulled back. You've got to like get inside those curtains, right? So you really want to think about who am I marketing to? And the golden nugget that I have learned is that you take your time and research. Really take the time to research. And when I say research, I want you to start thinking about, what are the words and the key phrases, and how are people describing their lives, their situations? You've got to get crystal clear on who am I marketing to. I saw somebody say, well, my audience is creative women entrepreneurs. And I pushed back on her and I was like, look, creative women entrepreneurs, how many women entrepreneurs do you know who don't think they're creative? That's just saying, like, every woman that I know who has their own business, I'm marketing to them. you can't market to everyone. You've got to be really specific. So if she said, I market to creative entrepreneurs who make handmade crafts and they sell them at flea markets, and they're trying to build up their clientele and sell more products, well, then that is a lot more specific. Okay, so Jennifer, you said the scariest part is isolating your group. So I want you to expand a little bit on that and tell me a little bit more what you mean by that. Okay. And when you're that specific, then you can start creating marketing material that speaks to that group. So one of the things that I'm going to pull back the curtains on some of what you've been hearing is your copywriting skills. When you come online, it's different than when you speak in person. Because when you speak in person, you have that great opportunity to see how people react and respond to you. You can read body language. You can get, the how this voice sounds. You can see how people, like if they disconnect from eye contact. But when you're online, you don't necessarily have that same opportunity to do that. So you have to be so proficient in your writing skills and so proficient in getting into their heads, which is why that market research piece about writing the way that they think is really important. Because when a person reads what you're saying, they're going to have to start saying, I feel like you're talking to me. Oh my gosh, you said that. You said exactly what I was thinking. So when you're doing research, one of the best places you can do is go into groups where you think your people hang out. Now, whether or not you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or you're tweeting a lot, you've got to find your tribe and figure out where they hang out and where you're going to hang out, because it's a commitment. When you come online, you have to commit and you have to be found where people are looking for you, right? So you've got to be where they are. And if you're like a Facebook junkie like myself, I am like the holy grail. Facebook to me is my playground. I'm there all day. Sometimes I'm wondering if I need a Facebook support group. I swear, I just love it because everybody's there for all sorts of reasons. But if you are on Facebook, you should pick some groups that your audience are hanging out in, and then you should study. Don't just sit there and, like people are like, oh, give valuable content and just, make sure that you're commenting and stuff. Comment, but at the same time, I like that, Doc. I like Doc Business's suggestion. I'm going to come back to that in a second. When you're coming on there, you want to make sure that you're really reading. It's almost like you have to listen with your eyes on social media. Social media, you have to really go beneath what that person is saying. Whenever somebody's making a post, there's a deeper message in that post. They need something. They want something. If you're really good at it, you're asking questions rather than, I see people jump on and they're just like, this is my advice and you should take my advice. And da, 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 da. But if you're really good at it, you actually ask some more questions and get some more clarity around what they're saying. But then look at the words. Look at how they're describing their situation. Look at what they're saying. And that will give you a lot of feedback. Let's see, I'm going to go to, so that's a tip right there. Know who you're talking to. And this is your opportunity to be like the lurker. You get to lurk. You get to watch. You get to do that market research. It's really important. Okay. So Jennifer, you said the scariest part is isolating your group. I think it's lack consciousness, that you'll leave out the people that you have money to pay you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Such a key point. You think that, people, if I just pick this one group, there's people out there who won't pay me. When it comes to marketing online, remember, you need to put a stake in the sand. I don't know if you were here when I said earlier, one of the key things is you have to think about it. If say Facebook is your playground and somebody made the suggestion, right? You pick the platform. Let's master that platform, be where you're going to be. You've got to think about it like this. There was 1 billion users in one day on Facebook, 1 billion, right? So that is, you are a grain of sand in the ocean when you come online. If you come in and you stake your claim, like I am Planet new coaches, consultants who are just starting out in business and they don't know how to get started. And they've been going through all of the online courses. They have their inboxes are blowing up with all these freebies and they still don't know where to get started. there's a lot of coaches and consultants who are feeling that way. That's where, you put your stake in the sand. If you're a weight loss coach, like I help people who need to lose 50 pounds or more, lose weight. You don't think if you can help somebody lose 50 pounds or more, you don't think somebody's going to come up to you and say, well, I just have 30. Can you help me? Right? Or I have 100. Can you help me? I have 20 pounds. What are your tips? You've got to be willing to be specific and really just plot your space, because people need to be able to find you. They need to know where you are and how to get to you. And if you have a strong, firm position, then they can figure out how to get to you. It's like McDonald's. McDonald's started with fast food burgers, right? If I needed burgers and fries for my kid, I can go to McDonald's. Well, guess what? McDonald's now sells salads. They sell smoothies. They sell coffee. They have expanded and grown, but they started with burgers and fries, right? They didn't say, well, if we sell burgers and fries, then other people are not going to come and look for stuff. What happens is people started coming and say, well, do you guys have, can you guys do salads? Because we need a healthy option. And they were like, you know what? Salads are a healthy option. So by the way, we do have the lettuce and the tomatoes in the back. We'll just make some salads. And they were able to expand based on market demand. But if you are unwilling to pick a place to plant, people are not going to know what to come to you for ever. So they're always going to be floundering with, you're nice, but I don't know what I should follow you for. So you've got to be known for something. You've got to stick that to, and you want to repel the people who don't want to work with you, and you want to attract the people who do. Because if people really see that you're definitive about something, that in itself is compelling, and they're going to want to come and get to know you, and they're ultimately going to want to come buy from you, and they'll figure out what it is that you can help them with, because they'll get deeper. And you probably have beyond your first level storefront. Okay. So I'm going to go back into marketing. You've got to have this first level storefront. So if we think about McDonald's, right, the first thing you think of is burgers and fries. That's what gets you in the door. So for your business, it's what's going to get them in the door. When they come behind the door, then they see this huge menu on the wall and they're like, oh my gosh, I can get all that too? That is phenomenal. But if you don't get them in the door in the first place, they can't even know what else you have to offer them. So you've got to be recognizable to them. You have to offer them what they're looking for. You've got to think about, what is it that they consistently say? They're consistently struggling with. They're consistently telling me they want. They're consistently asking for. What is it that I have that I can offer to them that will let them know that this is something they can trust, that they can get from me? And they can also repeat it specifically to their friends who are probably a lot like them in the way that I want it to be repeated. Because when we're all over the place and we're like, one day I'm doing this and one day I'm doing that, and the next day, people can't become our sales force. People can't become like our virtual team of others who are like, have you heard about Jennifer? Oh my gosh, she is so amazing. She helps people do X, Y, Z. They can't do that if they don't know what you do. And I struggled with that for a long time. I will tell you, I had a period in my business where I could not nail it down. I was just like, I don't know. I do a lot of good stuff. I don't know. It's marketing, sales. There's a lot of things that I do. And so I had a really hard time just picking a space. And guess what? I would have people say, you know what? You are so awesome. I really love you. I don't know what you do. I'd love to work with you if I knew what you did, and it's like, wow, that's kind of shocking. So one thing you can do is you can start polling the people who know you now and ask them, what do you think that I do? What do you think I do? And let them tell you if you're being clear in your outward marketing message, and you're not. Because when you come online, the clearer you are, the more consistent you are. And that clarity should be, this is, on my business page, this is who I say that I am, and this is who I help, and this is how I help them. On my personal page, it should be a link to my business page, which is congruent. If I'm talking about things in either area, it makes sense to people. If I have another social media outlet, that should mirror the other social media outlets. So my website should be saying the same thing. So wherever I'm showing up, all of that is congruent. All of that makes sense. It's all thematic. So people aren't like, I one day you said you were, pimping tacos, and the next day you said that you were helping people lose weight. Not quite sure, right? So you want to make sure that people are getting the gist of what you do. Coach Karen said, creative women entrepreneurs from ages to 20s, 30s to early 50s, and then research that. You can drill down. And let's see. I think Jennifer brought up a good point too about, being honest about what you offer to people. I'm a firm believer in self-assess first. Okay. Before you put anything on the web, really think about, what do I do really, really, really well? What do I do that I know that I can achieve results and outcomes for somebody else? What is that specific thing that I'm doing? Or write down a list and pick the top 3 things. Pick the top 3 things and then make sure that whatever it is, it's monetizable. Because if it's not monetizable, if it's not something that you can get paid for, then you'll be finding that you have a really good hobby going on, right? So when it comes to that, you want to make sure that you're like matching something that is solution oriented to your audience. So do that self-assessment before you do anything else, because if you're not going to be able to make money with it, then you're going to spend a lot of unnecessary time and energy and probably money, because you're going to invest in looking for answers, and it's not going to be worth it. Let's see. Grand family plan. I know my clients are on Facebook, and I'm creating ads specifically for the platform and tracking the response, building my tribe. Fantastic. That's what you should do. Hardball Media G said, not only read, but understand. And not quite sure. That's probably when I was talking about, really read. That understanding is listening with your eyes. Okay. Doc said, own your roots, know where you began. We didn't start off as a big time star. It's so true. Like, we're all not starting as, I've got, you're not going to come in and a year later, I've got a 7-figure business. And it was just, it took me no time. And a lot of times, who was it in the very beginning who first jumped on? Jamie. Jamie's had a networking group for 8 years for women offline. And that is such a tremendous foundation to bring online, because Jamie's had the opportunity to see, what people are challenged with, what questions they've had again and again and again. She's had that opportunity to say, what is it that people are looking for? What are some of the responses that I've been getting to certain things that we introduce into our network marketing? Now, Jamie, my suggestion for you is to think about, of all of your experience over the past 8 years, if you got asked 3 questions over and over again, write down what are those 3 questions and what are the answers to those 3 questions. Which one is more than likely, oh my goodness, my fire alarm is going off. I don't know why, because we don't have anything cooking. This is my child. Okay, so babe, it's okay. It went off. We're good. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why it's going off. Okay. So Jamie, what I would suggest to you is take those 3 questions that you're getting consistently, and then make sure that you create something as a solution to the one that's probably the most asked out of those 3. And anybody can do that. If you want to think about, when you're consistently speaking to your target audience, what are the 3 questions that they're asking all of the time? And what solutions can you give them? And of those, what is the one big solution? Because you want to have something that you can offer. Now, you also want to think about the end goal. What is the end goal? Do you want one-on-one clients? Do you want a small group? Do you want to start a Facebook group? Do you want to, sell a program or a product? You really want to think about what is your end goal? What is your end result? Lots of times people are not thinking that first. They're just going on and I made this product and I made this program and I hope that it sells. But there's a lot of intricacies and steps that go into even marketing and launching products and programs. So maybe that's not even your best way to start. Maybe you just want people on your email list. Maybe you just want to start with having one-on-one conversations with people. Reach into their inbox and send them messages. Get to know people. When you're using the internet, the faster that you can create real relationships, real commonality, real I get to know you, you get to know me, then it's absolutely, oh, it probably is my battery. It's absolutely a lot easier for you to leverage from a place of, I've got some people that I already know that I can invite into my world, that we can now start to get to know each other better, and I can branch off from there. Then I'm going to shout into a room of 1 million people and hope that somebody buys from me. So you really want to think about what's my end goal and what's going to help me the most. Yes, grand family plan and pretty say, well, yeah, I guess it was my battery, but it came on and it went off. So I don't know. Yes, Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk is absolutely fantastic. And somebody said it earlier, where are you going to plant yourself? Where are you going to plant your flag? Which social media platform are you going to own? You need to own something. Get a piece of real estate and stay there. Here I am on Blab. I like Blab as a platform. I think it's fun. I like it better than I've liked Periscope. I tried Nomadcast and I tried something else. I forget what it was. And so far, let me tell you what, and some of Coach Karen said, you just consult with your higher self. When you know yourself really well, then you can also market yourself more effectively. One of the things that I know about myself is I love to talk to people. I love speaking, not scared of video. I love interactivity. So Periscope seemed appealing in that way. But I also love the Google Hangouts because there's more than one person and we can talk and we can interact. And so I also like this platform of Blab because every once in a while I can do, open seat coaching. And if anybody wants to get coached today, I'll definitely coach you and tell you where you need to start. That's fun to do. So just say yes in the box if you want to jump in my seat in a few minutes. I definitely think that this is more of my style because I love social. I'm a social person and I love Facebook. I am too long-winded for Twitter. Sorry, Twitter. I know this is your platform, but I'm just really like to take all that's going on here and to put it in 140 characters seems kind of restrictive. So, knowing myself, then I say, well, where do I want to show up? Well, I want to show up on Facebook because I love to expound and I love to talk to people. I love to doc business. You can't master Twitter either. I know, right? It's like, I think Twitter is a skill. I think Twitter is like, you're gifted if you can do Twitter all the time. So I find that I like to, as you guys can tell, like talking is not a challenge, right? So any place that I get to expound, but I also get to interact with people. So you've got to ask yourself, am I more of a person who loves the interactivity? Which platform is going to allow for that? Some people do tremendously well, like on Instagram, they're highly visual and they're really good at putting out visual content and, committing to that. Some people are Pinterest people. I find that more creatives are on Pinterest. The people who are really making things or who are visual creatives, they're doing really well on that. Facebook is definitely, I think it's more of like a content marketing space. You get to talk, and here goes the alarm again. Gotta love it. You get to talk and let that go. And then you also have Twitter where you can just like kind of push stuff out very quickly. And I think Twitter is like, people are like highly creative and witty and they can just think like that. They think like really fast in sound bites. And I so wish I was that way. So, I say all that to say, figure out like who are your peeps and who are you and where do you match, because if they're on Twitter and you're not a Twitter person and you're going to force yourself to be on Twitter, well, there's a mismatch there. So either your audience isn't matching with your platform or you're not, or you're reaching, because if it's going to make you have to commit to something that you're not ready to commit to, then that's going to be a challenge, right? And that's the other piece. Find some place that you want to commit to. This is ridiculous. Oh, you know what I can do here? We're gonna travel a little. I'm gonna close this door. Don't worry, daughter's fine. It's loud. I don't take that battery out. So one of the things is also think about your medium. Here's an online tip that I really want you to take hold and root in. What are you, creatively good at? Are you a person? Are you a writer? Are you a writer? If you are a writer and you're a person who can write often and writes well, then you really want to think about, okay, how can I blog more? How can I take those blogs, right? And take my blog and I'm going to hook it to my Facebook so that people who are on my Facebook or whatever your social media platform is, I'm going to link it back to my blog. I'm going to have that in my website. Then I'm going to raise my SEO. And when people come over here, if I have a freebie now, they can go into my email list. Something you can commit to. So if you're a writer, write. Make sure that you write. Write often. If you're a person who likes to speak and likes to be seen, maybe a video is your thing. So if I'm willing to Periscope, if I'm willing to blab, if I'm going to do Google Hangouts, which are kind of getting outdated, if I'm just going to do YouTube videos all the time, again, how can I take people from one space to follow me into my domain, which is really my website, and to bring them to me, my email list? How can I do that? You really want to have that place where people can find you and know that this is what you're known for and stay consistent with you and that you show up regularly. I know some people say, like, oh, I send out an email once a month. That's not enough. That's just not enough. If people are only hearing from you once a month, you are as good as forgotten. In this day and age, you have 8 seconds. I think it's either 8 or 4 seconds to get people's attention. And so if you can't do that, consistently, if you can't show up consistently, then there's going to be, people are not going to stay with you, stick with you, follow you, want to be around you. And so if you're only showing up once a month, they've gone on. People's inboxes are flooded with new information every day. They are searching all day, every day. If you're going to be connecting with them online, then you've got to connect with them often. Okay. I'm just going to read some of the comments here. Think of often just the candles can set off a smoke alarm. I know we don't have any candles burning now. All right. Think of Twitter as radio commercials. Oh yeah. Kind of like little fast ads. Pretty segue. I think that's how you say it. You do video blogs better. Then if that's your medium, roll with it. If you're a vlogger, vlog. Definitely do that. If you love the camera, you love being in front of the camera, do it. I could be carbon monoxide. Oh, don't say that. I don't want. He said I could have carbon monoxide going on. Video marketing using YouTube Hangouts and now Blab are my favorite platforms because they have opened doors for me in radio. Oh, Kay Collins, you need to tell us a little bit more about how that happens, like how you're getting the radio, how they open the door for radio. That's really exciting. And Doc says consistency pays off. That it's really, if you're online, you have to think of it like this. Have you ever had somebody who's been like your Facebook friend? And I'm just going to always go back to Facebook because I just love Facebook, right? But somebody who's been your Facebook friend, and it can be like a couple weeks and you're fine, like, I haven't seen so-and-so on here in a while. But you really hadn't thought of them for like 2 weeks, maybe 3, maybe more. I have an aunt on Facebook that I was like, Aunt Meryl hasn't been on Facebook in a while. I should probably call her, right? We're all like looking at so much other information that we sometimes forget that people exist, right? And so it is thinking about, what did you have for breakfast? Some of you may have just had breakfast, so this is not a fair question, but can you remember what you had for breakfast? Or can you remember what you had for dinner yesterday? If you had to sit there and think about it for even a minute, that's how people are thinking about you on whatever platform you're showing up. So you've got to, it is your job to stay in front of them. You're the person who's got to stay in front of them. So if you're coming online, it is a commitment. You have got to be married to the process. And what happens is people are smattering. They're not showing up anywhere, or they're not showing up everywhere. And you do get that opportunity to show up everywhere. You don't have to be all over different platforms. You can just do it once and expand on it. So if you're like, I'm doing this blab, I can record this, I can use it again, right? I can replay it. It can be replayed. I can drive people to it. You've got to think about, I want to make it simple for me. I want to work smarter, not harder. So what are the things that I can do once, and then I can spread all over the place? Online gives you that ability. So you can look really big. But if you're doing things choppy and inconsistently, or you're always wondering what to do, and not doing anything, and you're just stuck there researching, and there's a difference between researching and just being a learner and being a researcher. So if you're constantly in learn mode, chances are you're not moving anywhere fast. But if you're in research mode and you're applying what you're learning through your research and you're testing, then you're going to get expansion. Sometimes you're going to put out stuff and it's not going to go anywhere. Nobody's going to care about it. Nobody's going to, like today, this is my first blab, like my first official, my own blab. I'm doing another one tomorrow with Jay Noggle at noon Eastern. So if you want to join us, we're talking about epic fails on Facebook. So come back tomorrow too. But, I didn't know who was going to show up. And when I logged in, I was like, oh, I'm the only one here. This could go badly, right? But I wouldn't know if I didn't try it. So you've got to be willing to just put stuff out there. And you've also got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to have somebody push back on you and say, you know what, I don't agree with you. I don't like that idea. That doesn't, blab shouldn't scare you. You want to come on? You want to jump on the seat? I'll talk to you. Come on, join the girl. It's definitely, you've got all these ideas in your head, but they're all theory. Marketing, online especially, is about testing your theories and finding out what's true and what's real. And even in your, like this is a place where there's no, bad publicity, but my publicity coach, I know she knows what it is. Bad publicity is even publicity or good publicity or something like that. Like this is a space where you can make mistakes and it's a very forgiving environment, unless you're doing something that's offensive, like unless you really offended people. And I did notice that yesterday. I noticed that somebody who did a blab was extremely offensive. So if you are coming online, you do want to be mindful of how you're projecting yourself, because online, everything that you do now, especially with the element of online, is so public. All eyes are on us at all times. And so we will make faux pas. We're human, right? We're going to make mistakes. But sometimes when you make really big mistakes, then it's hard for people to come back from those really big mistakes, And so I saw something yesterday that was like really, it was in poor taste and it was disappointing. And this person was doing a blab and somebody tried to join their blab, and they had in their what is it, Twitter title or their handle, they had a Middle Eastern country as a part of their name. And the person said, oh, well, I'm not gonna approve you because I don't know if you can speak English. What? So immediately I'm looking at this person who's now supposed to be the expert and authority in the seat. And she was talking about self-improvement of all things, people. Come on. I was like so turned off by that. I was like so just put off by it that now this person, I could never recommend them. I could never refer them. I could never watch them again because I have a perception. And online, perception is reality, right? Perception is reality until you prove it differently. So people have an idea of you. They have an imagery of you. So if you're inconsistent or you're doing, like one day you're left and one day you're right, people are putting together these tiny little snippets and they're making up a whole picture of you. They want to believe that who they're watching is who they'll meet in person. So if you really want to be all about being yourself and being authentic and being real, then be real and own that realness. Know that some people are not going to like your realness and they're not going to want to be associated with it. But never be offensive. And I don't think anybody here is having any of that. Hi, good morning, is having that challenge. But think about, this is what I'm putting out there. And if somebody met me in the street, would they get the same thing? Am I always who I say I am? sometimes what I say is going to be polarizing. Sometimes what I put out there, people are not going to like. Am I okay with that if they came up to me in real life and had that same challenge? Put yourself out there, put it out there, and just be real and be comfortable with having opinions and going against the grain. Because again, these are some of the things that have people stand out in these big old crowds. Let's see. Okay, Doc said a lot of the popular social media platforms offer pre-posting. This means you can set aside an hour on any day and create posts. Yes. So Hootsuite, Edgar, there's a couple more, Doc, if you want to drop those in there. As far as, say, your consistency, because we talked about, being consistent. One of the things about consistency is we have, online, you have all these great tools to do that. So things like Hootsuite and Edgar and Post Planner, those are a few good ones that you can go ahead and have these tools at your command that can make your life easier, right? So you want to go ahead and utilize these tools and think about your posts ahead of time so that you can stay consistent, you can stay committed. Let's see, Kay Collins, she started out on YouTube in 2013. She started her own mastermind show by June. It was seen by radio station CEO, and now her show is a radio show that she uses to help other business professionals advertise their products or services on the radio. Had she let fear stop her, she would have been in wait mode. Hello. See, if you do one thing consistently well, then the next thing is available to you. You have to put your you have to be in position for opportunity to find you. And that was her consistency. That was somebody saying, oh my gosh, she is so good at this and she does it consistently. Can we offer her a radio show? That's how you grow and build from there. Doc, you personally use Facebook from my business page, plus your website allows you to do it through a plugin on WordPress. Doc, you've got a lot to talk about. We've got to get you on this show. We got to have you come back and talk about. Yes, pretty emotional intelligence is important on social media. Oh, you want me to do emotional intelligence as a topic? Okay. You going to join me on that one? Are you going to come on and chat with me? Because I'm definitely looking for people to chat with. Okay. Yes, master one thing, it grows into bigger things. So all good. You guys are awesome. Awesome to awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So, when it comes to, I want it, like here I am, I want to figure out how to get into this big online world. Where do I start? You got to start with narrow and then expand. You get a good foundation and you can use that to springboard from anywhere else. And what happens is a lot of people are like, I'm going, okay, pretty, we'll talk about your time, right? A lot of people will start here, I'm going to do YouTube videos. Oh, but now this is the new platform. So I'm going to jump over to Periscope. Okay, now I did Periscope. Now, I heard that blogging is going to build my business. So now I'm going to jump over to blogging. Oh, I heard that webinars are the thing. Let me go over to webinars. Oh, I heard that. And there's no consistency. There's not one area that a person says, you know what, I'm going to use this one area and I'm going to stay here until I see that it's starting to gain traction. And sometimes it takes time, right? It's like if you put a seed in the ground, that seed, certain seeds you do look overnight, they're growing. But for the most part, if you're building a seed of something that's like an oak tree, well, that oak tree is going to take time. It's going to be a little sapling. It's going to just be a little seedling, and then it's going to be a sapling, and then it's going to be just a sprout, and then it's going to be, a little tree, and then, bam, now it's going to stay on for the long haul, and it's going to take the storms and weather the storms. You've got to stay where you're planted and not try to do everything and follow and stop getting stuck in the time suck vortex of downloading freebies and webinars and doing all of these things unless they are specifically connected to that one thing that's you're honing, that skill set that you're honing that's going to continue to get better and better and better. You've got to put your blinders on and say, you know what, I don't see that. No. Blah, 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 blah. I only see what I need for my business. I only see what's important for me. Justin wants to come in. All right, Justin, I'm going to let you come on in. Justin wants to come in and join the blab. But so far, give me some feedback. Let me know. Let me know what you're taking away from this. Let me know what's helping you. So ask me any questions. What questions do you have specifically about your own business? And you're more than welcome to jump in. And I'm definitely happy to help you wherever you're positioned. Thank you, Kay. She has to go do her daughter's hair. I feel you on the daughter's hair. I just got my daughter's hair done the other day. Woo, girl, let me tell you. So enjoy. Okay, Justin's not. Justin, we're not. Oh, come on, Justin. What's going on? It doesn't look like he's joining just yet. But nope. Justin jumped back out. Thank you, Pretty. I'm glad that this is really helpful for you. Just in case people are jumping off, I started a new Facebook group. It's Marketing Your Genius. I think there's a lot of people. I know that there's a lot of people who are selling advice, right? You're selling an intangible. When you're selling an intangible, it's, you've got to make that intangible tangible. That intangible has to be real to that person. That's why I say that as far as the copywriting, Vanessa, I'm going to add you in just 1 second. As far as, being really, really good with communication in your words, it's extremely important. Of course you can come in, Jay. You better come on. It's really important that you're able to use back up really loud.
Oh.
Okay.
That was
the thought. Okay, and then we'll go on. It's really important that you bring a person's situation to life in your words. So that's why the gurus aren't telling you how important copywriting is, how important it is to be a good writer. And if you can't say your own words, like if you can see that you can't necessarily put it into your own words in writing, then you want to have somebody help you with that. You definitely want to have somebody help you find the words and get the words right before you start putting out your programs and your products. Because if people aren't seeing themselves in the writing, they can't jump on. They just can't buy it. You're looking for clicks. Jay, hi, my friend. Jay and I are going to be on tomorrow too. We're going to do that social media. He's the one who called me. He's like, we should blab. Yep. And now you got me addicted. Thanks, Jay.
I knew, there's certain personality types that I can just tell when I meet them online that this is going to be a good fit for. And, it's like you were saying earlier, I've learned through personal experience as well that you can't be everywhere. You just can't. But it's good to try new things to figure out which tool, really works for you. And then you can adapt that and bring it into your mix. And sometimes that means something new comes in, which means maybe something old needs to go.
Ooh, that's a ding, ding, ding. That's a great point.
I for example, I started a YouTube channel, and before that I had a blog, and I'm probably going to go back to the blog is on an old .com WordPress. My site's, on WordPress, but it's hosted. I was thinking about importing it in, and I thought, nah, I'll just go through and pick the, 3 or 4 best posts, turn them into a quick little YouTube video, get those on my channel as well, and I'm good to go. But media content, it changes forms. Certain things are good for certain types of content, and some things work well no matter what you use, right? So certain topics, certain you can take a blog post, for example, if it's a good blog post, turn it into a video, vice versa, as long as the content's solid.
That's such a key point right there. Oh, they need you to speak up a little bit, Jay.
Oh, yeah. I'm on my iPhone.
Okay.
So, anyway, creating content for the purpose of creating content and just throwing the crap out there and just filling up the internet with just stuff is about as pointless as going out and, going to Walmart and filling up a cart full of plastic stuff and bringing it home and feeling like you're successful because you own a lot of stuff. There's no quality there, right? It's garbage that's going to get broken in 2 seconds. And you you're not going to make any inroads that way. You have to, what you said earlier, you kind of have to stand for something. You have to take a stance. You need to really focus on your inner core, what you're about, why you believe those things. And then instead of focusing, you were saying earlier about, starting out and, finding an audience, growing an audience. For me, I think it's about people as opposed to numbers. And that's the thing that, we had that conversation, you and I.
Yeah.
And that's really the issue, is that when you're starting out, especially, and you're focusing on people, you're going to gain tribe very quickly, one person at a time. It's a slow growth process, but I'm just not a autoresponder kind of email kind of guy. I'm just not.
Yeah, so it's really good for you and what really works for you. And I want to expand on something that you said. It's about the people. What I really, my stance is that there is this mentality that's being pushed by a lot of some of the bigger mentors and gurus out there that, I don't begrudge them, because I think what happened when they first started, they started at the space that a lot of people are starting, right? They didn't have an audience. They didn't have a tribe. And so they got going. Well, 5-6 years into their journey, they've disconnected from that space, and they're using all advanced marketing strategies. And I have one coach in particular that I have absolutely seen this happen, where they can no longer relate to where the person's beginning, but they don't necessarily have in their programs or in their support systems for their people who come to their programs, the people who are helping them with that foundation piece, who are reminding them, like, you really just got to start talking people to people. You really got to start creating those deep relationships. You really got to start, and it sounds so cliche, and it sounds so, we all heard this before, it's the know, like, trust factor, but it is the know, like, trust factor. I did sales for many years. I was a sales trainer. I can tell you, if you don't build know, like, and trust, Gary Vee will tell you, it doesn't matter what you do. People they do business with people.
Right.
And what I find is what's happening is that people are building these self-glorifying narcissistic businesses, where the business is more about them showcasing themselves than about what they do for others. And we started a business to help other people. But when I start seeing this, and I've got this website and it's got my glamour shots and I got my this, and it's like, oh, and I launched the program, but it's more for you and for you to say, look how important the work I do is for other people.
Right.
It's really a self-based business. It's an ego-driven business, and it's not a business that's for the business of helping other people.
Right.
And when you use other people, you take your time.
They're called internet celebrities, because that's what they are.
Yeah, we talked about that.
That's what they're wanting to be. That's the persona that they want to project themselves as.
Yes.
And that's how we come up with, the experts and gurus and the rest of them. And, I call them A-listers. But at the end of the day, they really are people like we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. That's the magic thing about Blab, is that's where these worlds are going to really collide very quickly. And I saw it. I think I saw Grant Cardone get on his first Blab. I think I saw Chris Ducker get on his first Blab. It was weird, that's when I realized, when you watch certain people that have this persona and the success factor and all these things, and they get onto these platforms and they're poking buttons and trying to figure it out just like all the rest of us, it brought it home to me that they're just regular people doing their thing. They're blessed in how fortunate they are with what they've accomplished, and it's taking a lot of hard work, but they are still just They're just people.
Just people. Well, that, you know, and I think that there's some people who are so appealing and so much fun to watch. And I, you know, I'm a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan. I absolutely love him. Somebody mentioned, you know, jab, 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 right hook earlier. And the appeal for him is, you know, he hasn't changed who he's been from the beginning. Mm-mm. Like if you followed him from his wine library days, you know, he's the same guy who was sitting there spitting in a can while he was talking about, you know, wine stuff, using, you know, just being him, talking about the Jets and he's just, again, he started with a format and he expanded on it, but he didn't change who he was. And his heart is for the person who's trying to get started. His heart is for, let me tell you what's real. Let me tell you what's going on, right? And so I think that's really important for people not to forget. You know, your first job is to continue to connect with people. My publicity coach, I keep forgetting your first name, and I'm really sorry about that. Jamie. Like, Jamie, you have a community that's already happy with you. You know, for 8 years, hi, Jamie. If you've been running a women's networking group for 8 years, there's no way you can't come online, because I can imagine that networking group is already online. You already have a community who's ready, willing, and able to support you. So you are really just, you know, positioned to come out. Now, I don't know where you are as far as what you need to know in order to build from there, but you are already connected to people. And I love to tell people, if you're just starting out, you should be connected to people in person as well. Don't just you know, like, don't hide out on the internet. A lot of people are using the internet just to hide out. You're in the people business. You got to deal with people.
What do you mean by because everything's all automated?
Yeah, well, they'll use the excuse of, you know, I'm going to start an online business because I can get clients that way, and I don't really have to, you know, like, I can just build something and then I can start getting, you know, clientele. But they haven't had interpersonal interaction, so a lot of times they fire off this content that's not relating, it's not connecting, because they haven't taken the time to connect with people. And maybe they're shy, they're nervous, they're not sure about, you know, like talking in real life. But that's where the juicy nuggets come from. So even if you just have people have a one-on-one phone conversation with you, it's a great place to start. You know, just get people off the internet onto the phone.
I hadn't really thought about that before, but that's a really interesting idea, in that people that are connectors naturally should also be able to create content that connects with other people. Mm-hmm. It's coming from their soul, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not a very good connector, then your content probably is also going to reflect the fact that that's your personality, that you're more isolated than being a naturally, you know, connecting type person. So,
well, if you're, I mean, and I don't want to offend anybody, but if you are, I don't know how to put it any differently, but if you're socially awkward, it's going to show up. Like, you can't hide that. You can't hide the fact that you are not comfortable dealing with social situations.
Right.
And so here's the thing. People want to follow you. People are going to want you to lead them. And if you are trying to tell people how to build something that you can't do, if you're trying to tell people to do things that you cannot do, it's going to be hard to follow. And so it's really important for people to recognize you're put in a position where people want to be able to, you're emulating, you know, something, and they want to be able to follow that and do it too. And so if you're guys, I'm going to help people hide out on the internet, well, then you're actually making the world smaller. We've got to reach out and be willing to reach out. Now, using the internet, the biggest thing is you get to leverage. You use the internet for that, and I said it earlier in the beginning, amplification. You get to, reach more people. That's the beauty of the internet. You get to reach more people, but you've got to be willing to reach more people. You've got to be saying, I want to deal with people. All right, Tish was like, Tish, I'm gonna let you in because you had something. This is what I love. Tish was like, "We're glorifying." I said something about glorifying.
How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great, Tish. How are you?
I'm okay. I can say I'm okay. I wanted to weigh in because I personally feel you are not being fair to those who build huge businesses. Like, for instance, right now you're talking about connecting with people and all that's good, right? Let's look at it this way. With some of us, we come on the internet to market our products, right? It's a channel, right? Just like a TV, right? The internet is a channel, just like a TV, just like a radio. So you cannot go and say those people who advertise on TV are wrong, right? They need to go out, meet the consumers, people who consume their products, right? You are looking at the internet as something where people have to connect, right? There are different uses of the internet depending on what you are there for. Like, for instance, with me, I've got over 25 employees, right? If I'm going to sit down and say for every sale which we make, I have to sit down with the person, them get to know me, and me get to know them, then see if we're a good fit. The way you do it, right, like with us, right, our fixed overheads monthly, they are close to, I'll say, 30 to $40,000 per month, our fixed cost per month. So for us to get into profit, we need to pass that, right? Then we get into profit. So how many sales do we need to make in order to reach profitability, right? A lot. So with what we do, we got automated webinars, for instance. We've got automations from when you reach our site, right? Everything which you do is automated, right? From the only thing which is not automated is support. When you've got an issue, you can contact our support. There's someone to help you. You can come to our live webinars and you can ask your question, but most of the things we do are automated. So if you look at all the so-called gurus, right, look at their businesses, where those businesses are. They cannot physically, it's impossible for them to connect on most of these mediums. Like, for instance, with me, I come to Twitter and all those things maybe once a month because I'm busy working. I'm busy working on tracking, tweaking, right? Split testing, doing all those things. It depends where your business is.
Can I pause you for a second though, Tish?
Go right ahead.
You're right here right now. You're right here right now. So you're leveraging this medium right now. So
okay, my partner told me to check this out and just see what's going on.
Okay, so if I almost want to back you up for a minute. What is your business?
Pardon?
What is your business? What do you do?
Okay, I'm an internet marketer.
You're an internet marketer. Okay. So I respect your business and I respect the fact that you've grown to a really high level. Here's something that I want you to offer you is I'm talking to coaches and consultants. Coaches and consultants in internet marketing, those are two different areas. When you're doing
coaching also.
Yeah, coaches and consultants and internet marketers, those are two different niches. Okay. Internet marketing is a lot of you can sell product, you can sell product, you can sell product. Most coaches and consultants are not necessary. They are looking to that's the goal is to if I'm a coach, I'm coaching people. If I'm a consultant, I'm working with a person, right? I'm working with a company. So they are trying to make personal connections to expand their brand and expand their clientele. In an internet marketing world, you're not necessarily you might not ever talk to the person because you might just be selling content and product, right? So I respect what you're saying and I hear exactly what you're saying. And I love the fact that you are stepping into a platform and getting to know people. So somebody on your team.
No, I was just responding to you.
Yeah, no, and PD, you're right. Some coaches do have automated funnels like Tish, but they started from somewhere. They started with something. You can definitely automate something completely. I'm not saying you can't automate, but if you're just getting started, remember, guys, this is for newbies. This is for people starting to get into the internet and they're starting to use it for their businesses. When you're a coach and a consultant, you're coming into the internet. Yes, you can start automation, but you got to start with those relationships first. I'm not going to get coached from somebody that I can't trust, that I don't know if they know what they're talking about, that they don't understand what I need from them. I'm trying to get coached on that. So, you know, you're talking about these are people who need to connect. And if you look at some of the biggest mentors in the coaching industry, so internet marketing is a different world than the coaching industry. I just want to be clear about that. If you look at the top coaches, most of them started offline. They started offline, and then they automated their systems based on what they learned offline, and they brought it online.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but the easiest way to get new clients, if you're a coach, and also brand yourself as a leader, and also present the knowledge which you have, is just write a well-detailed article. Right? Simple, break it down, and in between that article, put banners to take people to your capture page, right? And use email to follow up with them. So drive traffic, paid ads to that article. Problem solved. You don't need to sit for hours and hours talking to people to get there. You need to focus on income producing activities. Right? People who actually pay. If you are trying to build relationships offline and offline, they're two different things. Online, you can why not leverage the systems, right? I've got a coaching brand part of our business, and we just write articles, drive traffic to those articles. If the information on those articles is good, people will definitely do business with you. As opposed if the information is just rehashed from whatever you can Google. We give quality information, then from there, people come into our funnels and we focus on income producing activities. That's me. Let me get off. Just wanted to share my 2 cents. I'll just listen in.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your perspective. I welcome all perspectives, and I think that you are absolutely right. I absolutely agree with you that you can do the automated approach. I think your audience is really important. You really want to think about who is your audience and who are you marketing to. Okay, so you know, I just know I'm talking strictly from a coaching perspective. I've gone the internet marketing route too. So I'm well versed in internet marketing as well. And yes, you can create things. But a lot of those things, if you're going to be a coach who's doing internet marketing, you're probably taking a lot of that from real life examples, or you have to be a hell of a market researcher. Like and again, a great copywriter. You've got to be a great copywriter or hire a great copywriter. That's all it comes down to. So,
you've got to have a talented team, really.
Yeah.
It's a different ballgame than a solopreneur type situation.
It really is. Internet marketing it's a different animal. It definitely is a different animal. But if you learn internet marketing and you match it, as a matter of fact, I happen to know some of the top gurus that are doing extremely well and have huge businesses and they're 7 figures and all. They brought in the internet marketing element to their businesses, which is why they're doing so well. So it's a worthy study. And it's definitely something that you want to think about as you start to build your online presence. You know, how can I get better at the internet marketing piece of it? Okay. But it's a course. It's a study. I'm finding that a lot of people just need to figure out, who am I marketing to and what am I selling? That's really what most people are stuck on in that type of conversation. All right. So any other questions? If you know yourself and know what the market wants, you will have a slight chance of being successful. Great, Joe T-Y. I guess it's like a Joe Breezy type of thing. Right. Okay, so do you have anything to add or anything that you want to? TD Bryant, it's all about that. TD, why don't you come on? Why don't you come on? You've had a couple of things that you want to say. You said it's all about the list. It is about the list. Right.
I think, one thing too, the beauty of this is that depending on your makeup, as far as who you are and how you operate, you can choose to go either route. You don't have to do. Now, one thing he said that I do disagree with, that Tish said, was about advertising television. I come from that background, and that was always a monologue. Okay, you couldn't talk that television on an ad and get contact with the advertiser. It was a monologue.
Oh, you do?
Social is about dialogue.
Yeah.
And I think that when people try and bring the monologue efforts of the old world marketing tactics into social media, I think they're doing everybody a disservice. That's my opinion.
I like that opinion. Okay, so why do you feel that they're doing everybody disservice? Specifically, why?
Because the beauty of this is the fact that we can interact with each other. Those other things, direct mail, radio, newspaper, television, billboards, there was no way physically possible to interact. It was a monologue designed to be a monologue. This, in my opinion, is designed for a whole different purpose, which is dialogue. So, to use it as monologue, go use the other stuff, because that's what it's designed for. Don't glut up social specifically, not the internet in general, with a monologue. There are plenty of other channels that work well for that. Use the proper channel for that.
Well, then I think that you've illuminated like the biggest thing, right? You have to determine what business are you in really. What business are you in really? What's going to serve your audience well? How are you monetizing? You want to think about, direct marketing absolutely does work. TD said yes. It absolutely works. But you've got to say, do you want to have a dialogue with people? It's like, is that the business that you're in? It's a dialogue business. What is the model that you're creating, and what marketing methods can support that? And then you create those marketing methods, use those marketing methods. And I think TD said a great thing. You have to measure it, because and you said it earlier, there's going to be some things that you try that are going to work out great. And then there's some things that you won't. But I don't care what you do. If you don't have the foundation, if you don't have a firm place to start from, you're going to be throwing a lot of stuff out there, and it's not going to ever be able to root and grow from it. And that's what I'm seeing. The challenge is that a lot of people are jumping and glomming on things that they're not ready for, because the business hasn't even been firmly determined. It's like people don't even know what they're really on yet.
Yeah.
Come on in, TD. I thought you were.
Yeah, I'm still cleaning.
You had something to say. It was going. You had to get in there.
But I just want to say that is key.
That is key.
And knowing your market, knowing who you're selling to.
Yeah.
And to piggyback on Jay made some great comments. But what I know from marketing myself is social is all about engagement. You can have Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, the list goes on, Blab, but it's engagement. But building like an email list is key when you have like lead capture. And it's all about building a funnel towards your ideal customer. And that's what I learned the past like 6 months of me marketing and talking to like old gurus myself. So that's about it.
I agree, but I just know that's hard. At least it is for me. Maybe it's just my background and upbringing. But creating that funnel, that's a difficult process. That is not an easy. People make it look easy and they make it sound easy. But in order to do it and have it be successful, you can spend a lot of energy on creating a really poor funnel and getting no results. But the people that are doing it well, they're rock stars. They really got it figured out.
Yeah, so I think what I learned, you learn from the people that are doing it well. You have to have a great mentor that's already generating leads or capturing customers themselves, and you model your funnel after theirs towards your specific end all customer, and let the majority of how they in your funnel.
Right.
And know who your customer is, or
Yeah.
who your ideal client is.
Yeah.
That's key. Learning their origin story. What do they like? Where do they hang out? So it's been worth the time for us. And just reaching out, hand picking people.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And to that point, to TD's point, absolutely, you know, funnels don't have to be difficult. And I think that, you know, people get intimidated by funnels. They think that, you know, when they hear the word funnel, they think that it's such this big, you know, it's got to be this big and this wide and this deep and this long. And funnels can be very small funnels that just start generating people, where you can have intricate and bigger funnels. The thing is, it's, again, knowing where you're funneling people to, what is the outcome that you desire the most, and utilizing that funnel, and how are you going to get people from point A to your point B. So in the beginning, again, it's that content, it's about that client, it's about that person saying, you know, yes to that content, so they enter into your funnel. And it also reminds me of a very important thing that I wanted to mention too. When it comes to doing the internet marketing and even staking your place online, your goal is to always get people into your offline space. And I don't mean off of the internet, but I mean into whatever your email list or wherever your proprietary information goes. Because I heard somebody say it, I think it was Kimmer Luna, who's, you know, she has got a 15,000 plus people in it. And she said, you know, at any time Facebook could change the rules and shut down my group. And if you have everything in just on the, you know, on these social media platforms, you don't own any of that. So
Right.
Your goal is to get people into your world. Once you get people into your world, you own that, and you can nurture and you can engage. You can, you know, they can go through your funnels and they can, you know, you can offer things to them. But on the internet, you're limited by the fact that you never know. One day they could just shut you down and you're done.
Right.
So really thinking about, how am I getting that person from online onto my email list, or onto, you know, into a phone conversation with me so I can get their information. That's where you are now able to expand from there. And I think that's where people, again, they're trying so many things that they're not even just that simple. So a simple funnel could be, here's your freebie, come on to my email list, and now I can talk to you. Right? And from there, I can offer a session, or I can offer a program, or I can offer XYZ. And so that's what you want. I like what Tish said. You know, social media is building your house on someone else's land. Yeah. That's a really good analogy. It's a really, really good analogy.
Yeah, it's playing in somebody else's sandbox. You know,
exactly. It is playing in somebody else's sandbox.
They want to. If they want to pick up their marbles and go home, they're, you know, totally able to do that. I personally have kind of it's kind of weird to see, you know, A-listers and whatnot come on here or, you know, Blab, Periscope, and infiltrate these platforms that they already have a huge list. They already have 100,000 followers or whatever. Why are they not focusing on their own funnel, their own platform, and their audience there, as opposed to it's moving your audience someplace else? You don't need to. They're already that community. It's almost like the mayor of a town would take all of his people and say, "Okay, everybody, we're going to move to the next town over." And it's like, why would you do that? Because you already have everything established. You're good to go, right? Why would you mess with all that? What's the payoff? I haven't been able to figure out that mentality yet.
I hasten to guess that it's additional exposure, it's more engagement, it's more clientele, right? It's just more real estate. Tish has something to add. So Tish, what are your thoughts on that?
To answer that question, why? Okay, for starters, okay, let's not use the word guru, right? Let's not use it. I hate that term.
Yeah.
Personally, my business generates a couple of millions a month, right? I've got over 900,000 email subscribers, right? What, if you want to make even more sales, what you do is you need to connect with people on multiple ways. You can have emails going out, you can have webinars, you can have podcasting to those people, you can have them on, let's say, Skype groups, you can have people on Facebook groups, right? So you need to control that, whatever information that group gets. Like if it's emails, we know the inbox, you get how many thousands of emails a day, right? So you move them from one medium to another. Now you are playing with them on two different places. You understand? So if a person does not open your email, you get them on your Facebook group. If you don't get them on the Facebook group, you get them on what? Skype. You understand? That's how it works. That's why we constantly move people around. Like for instance, I like this blab thing, right? And I saw that you can do private ones. So I'm going to start doing blabs for my email list, right? Get them from the email to blab, right? They are seeing my face everywhere. I'm a celebrity. We know money flows to celebrities. It's just that simple. When I was a newbie, money was not flowing to me. When I became well-known, I can start a program within 30 days, it's $1 million offer. Why? Because of these mediums, right? But
it's proof. It's social proof. You've already established the social proof. And so
exactly.
Now you throw your stuff out there, people are like, oh yeah, I want that.
But one thing I'm going to ask is, people just don't do the things that will make them money, right? Like for instance, it's easy. You start a blab, for instance, right? People come to your blab, right? What is the problem you want to solve? Start with that, right? Before you even write a blab title, what problem do you want to solve? Okay, do you have something ready right now which solves those people's problem, right? So if you are to put a link in the chat there, will that thing, when they click on that link, is it going to allow those people to solve that problem? By them coming to your blab, they've got an existing problem. Otherwise, they'll go somewhere else, right? So you give value on a blab, for instance, right? You break it down, give them your best stuff, and say, guys, if you like this, here's a link, go to what? To this site, right? So that's why I don't understand when people say it's difficult to make money online. When you understand it, it's easy. Like when you understand a funnel, right? What is a funnel? A funnel is a way to talk to people. Instead of me sitting one-on-one like this, I'm talking to you through the funnel, right? How does a person move through a funnel? You get onto my email list, right? And I've got tags. We say, if this person clicks on this link on this email, move them to this other list so that they can start receiving these other emails because I know they're interested in the topic, right? If people don't open that email, I know they're not interested. So I send them another email with a different thing, another email with a different thing, and they are moving into different funnels and we just have a conversation. That's how funnels work, right? And right now, for instance, Karen, you are building your audience right now, right? How long did it take you? It was easy. People just don't take the action. Then they say, oh, gurus. No, take the first step. One sale's all you need. Then figure out a way how to make two, and so on and so on and so on, right? So that's my sense.
You make a great point, Tish. I think especially the piece of people just don't even get started and make it more difficult than it needs to be. Like you said, take that one step, figure out that one action, and don't get caught up in there's 9 million things I have to do. Like you said, what is your offer? Figure out what people want and offer that solution to them.
Done.
But here's the thing. People are spending so much time trying to figure that out. right? They're just trying to get
That's
out.
the
It's like,
thing.
and all the information is there for you. Study the information, know what you offer, study the information, match it, and put it out there. That is the most valuable information right there. You are one step away from your next client.
I actually agree. I wish people could just, okay, one of the things why I don't like the word gurus and whatever, right? The thing is, people want to buy each and everything they see online, right? It's okay.
Yes,
We survive on that. Go buy. More power to you, right? What about this? Why don't you take some time, look at what they are doing, not what they are selling. Look at what they are doing and do that and see if it works for you, right? Yeah. See how they're trying to sell to you. See how they're trying to talk to you. Copy that, right? Yeah. People don't realize, like, for instance, Karen is right here, right? She's talking about how to get more clients. So if you like more clients, why don't you go around the internet, see whatever Karen is doing, and see if you can steal some things, right? Sit on a blab, then do your own blab saying the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. Simple.
Yeah. You know what? But here's the thing. It's the simple that is often the most overlooked, right? Because we're just wired to, it can't be that simple. I've got to make it harder. It can't be that simple. And I mentioned this earlier. Get out of the learn mode. Stop being this student. You know, just start being observational and then applying. Observe, apply, observe, apply, observe, apply. Once you start getting into that observational space and you start applying, then you actually become this person who is now generating your own clientele. I think that's what, and actually that is very much of an internet marketing approach.
Exactly.
I think that's why internet marketers are so successful and they're making money everywhere on the internet right now.
Thank you.
All different niches.
You know what happened to me? Let me just tell a quick story. How I got started, how I got where I am. I was in a training program, right? I'm not going to mention the names. No, this is your show. I was in a training program, right? And there were a couple of thousands of students in there, all of us. So I started learning the information from the back office, and I started teaching other people the same information who were in the same group, who had access to the same information. And guess what? People started asking me if I can coach them, right? Yet they were in the same training, same course, same everything I was in. They had access to the same information. They wanted me to teach them. Yeah, I couldn't understand. So I started learning this, teaching them, learning this, teaching them. Next thing, I'm making 1,000 a week, 2,000 a week, 5,000 a week, 10,000 a week, and you know, the rest is history. The thing is, people just want one, they put someone on a pedestal, guru, right? Then the guru makes money by selling the people below information. And the guru cannot say, oh, A, B, C, D there, right? No, the guru has to complicate the information so that he justifies the money people are paying. And that's where the problem comes in. Things get complicated. Oh, you need to do this, you need to do this. It's easier than people make it out to be.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And you know, I think there's a lot that goes with that. There's a lot where people sell themselves short. They don't necessarily, they'll see all this information in front of them. It's available to them to teach. They don't feel equipped to teach it. They don't feel like, they either, like you said, they put the person on a pedestal, or they deny the fact that they have the ability, or it's their space that they're allowed to. And it's like, you invested in this information. You acquired this knowledge. You know how to do it. So go ahead and do it. You know, go ahead and share the same information and just put it in your own words. Like, you are an individual. So it's going to sound different than coming from you than it is going to come from your mentor, the guru, the big person. But you learn this tool, so if you know it, teach it. If you can duplicate it, teach it. And I think that, you know, people are always looking for a way to make themselves so different and individual and and you're already different and individual. You just have to highlight the solutions that you solve and for whom.
Now it's time for me to be going. I'm going to say one last thing before I go. I don't want to take over this whole thing. People make one fundamental mistake. If they solve the first mistake they make, everything will work out. So here is the mistake most people make, right? Before I tell you the mistake, I'll give you an example. I don't think there are any other guys out there who know my girlfriend more than me. Why is that? When I met her, I fell in love with her. And when I fell in love with her, not even once did someone wake me up from my bed and say, Teach, I need you to think about India. I would wake up and the first person I think about was India. I tried to figure out anything and everything to bring whatever brought a smile to her face. I wanted to know it because I was in love. So if you want to succeed in business, you take the same approach. First, find something which you love. Okay, not what you can do, something which you love. Then figure out a way to make money from it. If you love something, you don't need a guru to tell you how to do it because you know it already, because it's something which you love. So if you do that, you will not fail. If you don't do that, guaranteed, it's like pushing a rope uphill. It's harder than you think. And that is me.
Thank you, Tish.
Pleasure. Let me go. Let me just listen in.
Okay. We're going to be wrapping up in just a minute. So thank you so much. I appreciate your wise words and your perspective.
No, I really enjoyed talking to you, and thank you.
I enjoyed talking to you too. I think we got to talk some more because you've got some great information to share. And I think that, you know, that so much that people can learn that. And I really respect that what I've seen as far as the slant on the internet marketing space, right? Like that deep learning in internet marketing. I don't think people take that into consideration. That's what makes it easier. If you actually start from that space of, I'm going to learn how to do internet marketing, which is a specific topic of unto itself. If you are willing to take that as a study, you can go a lot farther and a lot faster than just, I'm just going to start a business on the internet and hopefully figure it out. Because what you share today is there's people who do this for a living, like yourself, who know the ins and the outs, and you don't sit there and you didn't come out and try to master 12,000 things.
No.
You mastered one thing. You mastered it, you loved it, you stayed committed to it. And then from there, now that's why you have a team of 25 people, because you can expand. Now you can show up here and you can show up there, and you've got team like, look, Blab's a new thing. Go over on Blab, and here you are, right?
Let me expand on that quickly, sir, before I forget. Sorry. You see, the way I ended up with a large team was because I went out and found people who were already good at that thing. Instead of me trying to learn it, I got someone who was good, brought them on board. Like, for instance, Facebook, for instance, right? We know it's difficult to be approved for your ads on Facebook. We are spending more than 10,000 each and every week on Facebook because we've got someone who knows how to do it left, right, and center in their sleep. Same like solo ads, same like YouTube promoted videos, so same like media buys and all those things. So with you, figure out one marketing strategy, for instance, right? Only one, right? It will take you a week at the most, right? To really hone your skills. One, drive traffic using that one. That's it. Don't try to expand until you exhaust all the traffic, which I don't think you'll be able to. It doesn't matter what medium it is, right? Then find people who are already good at other marketing strategies and get them to help you, and so on and so on and so on, and grow your business that way. Not try to be a jack of all trades. You be a master of none, and you won't compete with people like me. Okay, let me go. I thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Great having you. Bye. So great advice from Tips. And it really comes down to what we're saying all along is you've got to have that space that's your space. You've got to know what you're good at and narrow it down and be willing to stand and commit to that space. I'm doing, have a Facebook group called Marketing Your Genius. A lot of people are, trying to figure out how to take this intangible information that, that I have to market to people. Where do I put it? How do I put it? And trying to figure out, which is the best space for me? What is my content? What do I solve? Who do I solve it for? And if you're stuck in that space, definitely join us over on the Facebook group because, my job is to help people get clear so that they can take the actions and that they have this foundation and then they can build from it. If you are in a position where, there's information that's ready to go and you just don't know how to market or who to market or, even how to create messaging around it, then come in that group because we're going to have people who have that information, who know how to do that and who want to help you. Myself, mainly myself, but, I want to build this community that is about people who are going to do a lot of good in the world if they can just figure out how to do it, right? So I appreciate all of you for showing up today, for being here today. Like I said, I'm going to be on again tomorrow with Jay Nagel. We're going to talk about epic Facebook fails. And, that epic Facebook fails, we're not trying to poke fun, but we're trying, how you show up is what people remember. And if you show up as somebody that people want to be connected to or they want to get to know you better, then you want to make sure that you are always representing yourself in the best way. And so we're going to talk about some of the things that we've observed in Facebook specifically that are actually having people getting, people are getting repelled from businesses because of what things people are doing. And maybe they just don't know that they're doing it. So we're going to illuminate some of those things. So tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern time, I don't know where that translates for all of you because I know we have people from all over the world who are watching today, but 12 o'clock Eastern with Jay Nagel. Make sure that you go over and subscribe to that and join us in the Marketing Your Genius Facebook group. It's all about get clients now because we definitely want to help you get clients. Hey, Doc Business, you're in Cali. I want to talk to you. So meet me over on Facebook, Karen Graves on Facebook. I definitely would love to interview you. And if you're somebody who wants to get interviewed, you want to share, oh, good. Okay, well, friend. What's your first name, though? What's your real name? Let's make sure, okay, AJ. Oh, AJ, got you. Let's make sure that we connect and you can talk about, how we can, everybody's got expertise. And I want to highlight people's expertise. I want eyes on you. I want exposure to you. I want you to do your good in the world. And I want to help you and help you build that platform. So you are not somebody's best kept secret. It's time for you to stop being the best kept secret or just the people who know you know that you're really good at what you do. Let's get you out there. Let's get some exposure to you. So my blab is inviting people to talk about their expertise. So if you got something to talk about and you definitely know you can help other people, then connect with me over on Facebook. Karen Graves, friend request me, jump into the Facebook group. Love to know you better. And it's been a pleasure to talk to you today. So see you tomorrow.